Hey folks, welcome back to Honey Money SG. Now, I'm sure you have watched my previous CPF video where I talk about I'm really sorry because I have mistaken or misinformed about the CPF. And some of the comments actually told me that my CPF shielding explanation was a little bit unclear and maybe a little more illustration regarding the CPF SA shielding hack is required so they can better help you understand what is the CPF shielding hack all about. But you know, I'm not the best person to come up with all these illustrations, right? Because I'm a video content creator, not really like a graphic designer to design all these really nice Instagram posts. So I will employ the help of a local content creator to help you all understand better about the CPF SA shielding. But before I go into that, I just want to go through a little bit of why should we do CPF SA shielding as a background for you to really understand. Now, between the ordinary account, which is the OA, and the special account, which is the SA, the OA earns you 2.5% annual interest and the SA earns you 4% annual interest, correct? And secondly, at age 55, your retirement account or the RA will be formed. So once the retirement account is formed, it actually needs to draw funds out of your OA and your SA. And they will prioritize drawing out funds from the special account first because that is primarily used for retirement. And then the OA will be of the lower priority. So once you learn about this priority whereby the RA will actually draw funds from the SA first, followed by the OA, then you will know the importance of shielding because you want your RA to actually draw funds from your OA instead of your SA, right? Because the SA earns you 4% interest, the OA earns you 2.5%. So you rather much prefer that your RA draw more from the OA. Don't draw so much from our SA, keep our SA alive, getting 4% interest. Okay, you can draw all you want from the OA because that's earning a low 2.5%. And what is the end result of shielding is that you have a full retirement account balance, mainly made out of your OA funds, and then your SA funds, because of the shielding, will still be very high and earning you 4% annual interest. So don't care about the low OA after that because 2.5% not very attractive anyway. And now you realize that you can actually keep your special account like an ATM because once after the age of 55, if you have achieved your full retirement sum, you can actually go and withdraw. And you will first withdraw out of your special account, which is earning 4%. Of course, if you don't need the cash, you don't need to withdraw, right? That's all your own choice. So with that, let's go to the Instagram post of a fellow content creator within the Instagram space to help you explain what is the CPF SA shielding all about. Alright folks, so welcome to Instagram. This is actually from a content creator known as Sense of Independence. Now Sense of Independence actually designed this very nice illustration, so all credits to her. She's a content creator from Singapore as well. So she talks about financial independence, retire early, as well as some of the CPF and finance stuff, right? So do give her a follow. And today let's talk about CPF shielding with her illustration, right? So this is actually the scenario if we are comparing without the CPF shielding hack on the left and then with the CPF shielding hack on the right. So like I mentioned previously, when we are 55, we need to have a retirement account. And how the retirement account is funded, you can see from this diagram, the red color is the OA and green color will be the SA. So if everything goes on as per normal without the hack, you can see that your RA is actually formed mainly by your special accounts and very little from that of the OA because the order of the funds that is withdrawn to form the RA is first coming from the SA and then the remainder will be filled by the OA. And you know, right, you want to have more funds actually coming from your OA instead because your SA is yielding 4% per annum of interest and then the OA is just earning a pittance of 2.5% interest. And hence, if we are doing the shielding hack on the left, we can then funnel more OA into the retirement account and then very little proportion of the SA so that we can have some SA left over with our special account and yielding the 4% interest that can be withdrawn anytime. Now that is assuming that you have already hit your full retirement sum. Okay, so if you are not hitting your full retirement sum yet, I think all this hack won't really make sense to you. So let's go into proper what is the action required. So on the second page, you can see this is what happens if your SA is not shielded. So on your 55th birthday, your RA is formed and then your RA is made up of your full retirement sum, right? Currently is around 192,000. So it needs to take funds firstly from the SA and then subsequently from the OA. So when it is not shielded, they need to draw everything out from the SA, right? That's why the SA came from a full load and then it became empty because everything is drawn out from the SA. And then very little is actually coming from the OA, because OA comes after the SA ma, right? So your RA monies come mainly from the SA that earns you 4% annual interest. And this is really not what we want, right? Because we want the SA to be as full as possible and then the OA to be as little as possible. So this is really not the scenario that we want it to be. That's why we have to do shielding. What happens when we do shielding, right? I think firstly, let's talk about how to actually execute shielding. So shortly before your 55th birthday, you want to invest your special account monies in a short-term bond fund, right? So 40k must be left in the SA and cannot be invested. So that is actually the reserve amount that I am talking about. So you want to keep your reserve amount to be around 40,000, and this 40,000 is actually the requirement that you must have in your special account before you can even use your special account to invest. So what happens is that when you actually fill your SA to go and invest in the short-term bond fund, you must keep the remaining $40,000, right? Because 40k above, then you can invest. So 40k remaining cannot be invested and it's reserved for the retirement account. So what happens when you turn 55? This is what is going to happen. You see, you still have your short-term bond fund here in this conical flask, and then you have your 40,000 from the SA, right? And then you have like a full OA. So optimally, this will be around 152,000, because if you add 152,000 to 40,000 here, you will form the FRS in your RA at 192,000, while still having your conical flask of your SA investments. So what happens after your 55th birthday? Your RA will actually draw firstly from the SA. It can only draw 40k, right? Because your rest of the SA funds is actually shielded in this conical flask, the short-term bond fund, you see. And then it will draw the 152,000 from your OA. Okay, so you see, if your OA only has 152,000, everything will be emptied. Okay, I repeat again, 40,000 from SA, 152,000 from the OA. So you see your beaker, your RA is actually filled with mostly OA funds, okay? And we want to keep more OA funds in the RA because OA only use 2.5%, right? SAU 4%, so we keep very little here. So the last step of this shielding hack is actually to unshield your SA. Remember the conical flask? Because we don't have any more SA in our accounts, right? All of our SA is actually shielded in the short-term bond fund. So after our 55th birthday, when our RA is created, we can then sell away the short-term bond fund, and we will then return all the monies into the SA. So you see your SA now is actually have a little bit of balance here, earning you 4% interest that can be withdrawn anytime, you see. So you can actually treat it like an ATM once you have actually set aside your full retirement sum in your RA. And RA is actually earning you 4% per annum of interest earmarked for CPF Life, while your SA, your very huge SA balance that was shielded and now unshielded, now can be withdrawn anytime, and it still earns you 4% per annum of interest. And it's probably a very good method because banks are giving you like what, less than 1% per annum if you put into their savings account. So now the excess money in SA is earning 4% instead of the OA earning 2.5%. Shielding is successfully carried out. Okay, so is this clear enough? If you're still confused, let's go back to the first page and compare what is the difference between no hack and with the shielding hack. So like I mentioned, without the hack, you will be remaining with the OA funds earning 2.5% as your ATM. Now, do you want your ATM to be earning 2.5% or do you want your cash ATM to be earning 4%? I leave it up to you, and this is how I explain the CPF shielding hack with this very nice illustration done by Sense of Independence again. So do give this page a follow, I really love their content. And with that, if you found this explanation useful, do help me comment a thank you, I'll really appreciate it, and let's get back to the video. Alright folks, welcome back. So I'm sure that this illustration has better helped you understand what is the CPF SA shielding all about and why should we do it. But if you're unsure of how to even invest your special account, you do really need to employ the services of a broker. And one of the broker that I recommend is actually Poems, because I do have a referral link with Poems which you could use to sign up with their Poems Cash Plus account. Then once you have your Poems account set up, you can actually go and select the funding being the CPF SA, which can be linked to your CPF investment account. Of course, as of the current date of recording, I'm not really familiar with this process because I'm still not at the age of 54 or 55, right? So I won't really have the experience or the need to go and invest my special account. So really do go and check with the 1M65 Telegram group or someone who has done CPF SA shielding successfully so that they can actually share with you more about it. I think my video purpose is more about the theory and the concept behind the CPF SA shielding and not more about the practical part. Because the practical part, it may change after all these years of policy making, and I'm still quite a long way to go to age 55. So I hope this content has been helpful to help you understand CPF SA shielding, and if you do want to refer to my previous video on why I was wrong about the CPF, then you can kindly refer to this video previously, where I talk about why am I really apologizing to my viewers. With that, thank you for watching. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.